So just a few things to note. I've just tabbed in the various elements so that you can see that right on the outside there are the HTML tags, then we've got the head tag, and then we've got the body tag, then we've got H1, the heading tag within body, and on the same level almost we've got the form tags, and then within that we've got an ordered list of questions. So there's our list for the first question, there's our list for the second question, there's our list item for the third question. Each question has got an unordered list, etc. And then right over here we've got the closing tag. So actually tabbing it in sort of makes sense so that you can see what's going on. And sort of, so that's the kind of structure we've set up, and then we've still got to add our 3 buttons and a text area, and they still sit within the form, but they're not part of any ordered or unordered list. So the other thing is that in our buttons, when we go to Internet Explorer and refresh our page, then what happens is within each group you can only make one radio button choice, which is what we want, and that sort of tells us, gives us a hint about what this name might do. So for example, if these were named as Q1 and Q1 also, what happens is these 5 buttons at the top will get treated as one button, and only one selection can be made from those. So let's just refresh this and make sure that that is the case. So out of these 5, the top 5, I can only select one, and these 2 are a separate group, so actually I can select those, and that's what the naming does for those buttons, and that's why we've got Q1 for the first group of radio buttons and Q2 for the second group of radio buttons, and this is the same in Excel if you were doing a form and Word and things like that. So that names a whole group of radio buttons, so only one choice can be made. Okay, so now after the ordered list, the very last ordered list, we're going to add another input type, and this time we're going to add some buttons. So it's an input tag, so let's just make sure my U works, and I need a closing input tag, which it hasn't put in for me. How annoying. But this input tag has got an attribute like all of our other input tags have, and so this time the type is not going to be radio, but the type is going to be a button. And then the other attribute that we need for this is we're going to give our button a value. So value is going to be what the button says. So let's say this one just says hello on the button. So let's just save that and make sure that works. So F5 or refresh. So there's our hello button. Clicking on that, it's not going to do anything because it's not actually connected to anything, and we need these buttons really because that's what we're going to do the processing on. Now I'm just going to have one button which says submit, and this is just here to make sure that our JavaScript, when we set it up, works. That's the only purpose of this button. It doesn't really help with the quiz at all. So I'm going to set up the other button, one for clearing all of this and one for basically submitting the quiz. So I've just copied and pasted the top line here and just changed the value of each of the buttons. Now this particular button, the last one, because it's a reset button, we can actually use reset. It's a kind of known type that can happen, and all it will do is clear the options that we've chosen. So if we refresh this and we make some choices, the only button at the moment that's going to work is the clear button, which clears all of the choices, which is fine for now. And so now we've done all that, we just need an area for the correct answers to display. So let's just go back here, and after our buttons we're just going to put in text area as a tag. So let's just do text area. Hopefully, it's given me a closing tag, and all I want to say within this text area is the correct answers will display here. Okay, so that's all we need. So save this and again refresh. And our text area is really quite small, so we need to make use of some of the attributes for the text area to make it the size that we want. We've got 3 questions, so we're going to have kind of 3 lines of code, 3 answers basically displaying there. So what we're going to do in the text area bits here, we're going to add an attribute for this. So we're going to tell it that we want to have rows equals, let's choose about rows. We've got 3 questions, so 3 will be fine, so let's just have 6, so we've got space around there, and cols, which is equal, stands for columns, and let's have that as 60. So that's just kind of one line actually for each character almost. So save that and refresh it. And yeah, there's our text area, just slightly bigger, and there's our buttons. So I mean, don't really want to spend too much on HTML really. I think in the next few videos we're going to look at actually attaching some code to the submit button, which looks at these, sees whether they're the correct ones, and then writes the answers in there.